Okay, so I'm going to show on a short video here on a gear drive Toro and quite possibly Exmark and some other mowers, okay, that have the Tecumseh peerless transmission. What'll happen is sometimes one or the other side appears to be slipping or hesitating. Hesitating is probably the best way to describe it, okay? Now, what happens, this here's your transmission shaft, okay? And that is connected to the transmission's output shaft via this here coupler. And there's a number of splines in here, and you can see that this slides, okay? Now the fault is not in the sliding. What also slides is this outer shaft. As you can see, and here I'm moving it, okay? When it slides out, and so long you got about this much space here, it's not a problem. But if it slides out all the way in here, and I'll get to that in a minute, then you are not going to get enough connection when this is all the way in here and this is all the way out. All of a sudden these splines here are going to be just out far enough to where the transmission will appear to slip, when in fact the slippage is happening right here. When I say splines, it's like notched on the shaft. See if I can, you can't really see them, but there is right here. Can you see that? That is called a retaining ring. See it? I'll see if I can find a little stick. I'll try and point at it. This is your retaining ring right here. That little thing with the two little holes on the top. Okay? That little thing will break sometimes. It's a heavy-duty retaining ring. And when it breaks, it allows, let's see if I can show this, that axle to slide out. There's a groove in this axle where that retaining ring goes into, okay? When that retaining ring breaks, or sometimes it just gets weak and it comes off, it comes out, it slips out of that groove, that's when this axle shaft, this is a bearing, can slip all the way through the bearing and up against this plate here. You won't notice the problem right away, except when you try and push forward on the mower, and for those of you who have pistol grips, it's all the same thing. The splines here will be slipping, okay, and from time to, but it's just barely, it's an intermittent slippage, because it's not completely, it won't fall completely apart, you know, but you have to fix it, because it'll chew through what this is called a sheave. It'll chew through this because it's metal to metal, and it'll eat up this thing too. And neither one of these is cheap. This stupid thing's like 80 bucks, and this one's like 25 used. So this little ring is about $1. To replace it, you got to pull this and this on a Toro. It'll vary for different mowers, but this has to come off, okay? Once that is off, you should be able to slip the belt off and be able to slide this out just far enough where hopefully you can get a new ring in once this comes out far enough. This just doesn't go straight through. This here joins it to the shaft of the transmission, okay? And it's just a half shaft here and on that side as well. Okay, you should be able to slip a ring in through here and get it back on. And like I said, once you get it onto this half shaft, you'll have to push this back in, and then you'll be able to get it into the groove here. If that doesn't work, you'll have to pull these two also. It's not a terribly, it's about a half-hour fix. If you're good at it, maybe you can do it in 10, 15, 20 minutes. If both sides are bad, I suggest doing this repair one side at a time. If you're not sure if one or the other side is bad, visually inspect this side and that side and see if you notice any differences or discrepancies from one side to the other. And that is how you fix the hesitation problem on gear drive, belt-driven lawnmowers, is to check for that daggone retaining ring. And like I said, if that retaining ring breaks, and they do break, it's a source of that's one of the problem areas, at least on Toros, and there's no fixing it. It's just how it is. You know, things that break, I actually carry a bunch of those retaining rings with me in the truck, so that when that happens to me out in the field, I can fix it, because it's not a terribly difficult repair, and then I don't have to run back to the house to, or bring it to the dealer for what I consider as a minor. And like I said, it takes about 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes, but you're back in operation rather than having to drive up the road. So, and it's a special retaining ring. You can get a regular retaining ring at the hardware store, but it won't hold but maybe 30 days and it'll break again. It's a heavy duty ring. So if you do want to get a retaining ring from the hardware store, it's got to be a heavy duty ring. And they take a while to find, or you can just get the part number and order one online too, But I would carry a bunch of them, and anyway, yeah, good 3 or 4, 5 or 6, carry them with you in the truck, and some tools. And again, it's going to vary from one mower to the next. And like I said, you want to do this one at a time, one side at a time, because once you take these off, this whole thing will come apart on you, And you might want to do it like on a paved surface, so that if any of these pieces drop on you, you'll be able to find them. That's all I have. Thank you for watching.